Episode 9.
9 already? Kind of 10?
Yep. Oh, I almost forgot to say it. All right.
All right. Whew. First pod where we're both in the same city, Nathan.
Yeah, we're both. It feels a little more hick in St. Catharines now.
I said a shift in the balance of the force. So what else would you want? You know, we're getting back to school. Stressed out more than ever. Don't know about you.
It'll be fine.
Sitting here playing games today, I just felt like the same pit in my stomach. Like, oh yeah, there's going to be stuff to do.
It'll be fine. We'll get it figured out.
On the bright side, we get to continue doing this now for a grade.
Exactly.
So whether anybody listens or not, it's officially go time, I guess.
It is. Soon we'll be on video.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that turns out. If and what that means.
Maybe that's the episode 10 move. Who knows?
It's big very possible.
10th anniversary.
Oh my God, yeah, our episode anniversary. I forgot about that. Well, why don't you kick us off on what could be our last audio-only episode?
All right. So we got some big ol' NBA news. For those who are living under a rock, Donovan Mitchell just got traded. He got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who is not the team I would have thought he would have gotten traded to.
They were like number 3 most realistic, and they seemed way out of it.
They were like 8th on my radar.
Well, you are more in tune than everybody else.
I had like the Knicks, the Wizards, the Heat. Honestly, the Lakers above him.
Wow.
And then, or above them, and then the Cavs just kind of swooped in out of nowhere. They're like, we're going to take him. But anyway, Donovan Mitchell gets traded to Cleveland in exchange for Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, Ochai Agbaji, 3 unprotected firsts, and 2 pick swaps.
I forgot Lauri Markkanen was even in Cleveland.
Me too. Apparently he's been playing small forward for them. Which is weird because he's a power forward.
Is really huge. I like.
Yeah, I think it's big for. I think both teams won. I think both teams kind of had.
This is interesting.
The upper hand. Because Cleveland got their guy. They didn't give up any of their core. You lose Colin Sexton, but they weren't gonna re-sign him anyway. So they weren't planning on re-signing him anyway.
Now is far more entertaining anyway.
Exactly. And then you throw in Donovan Mitchell, so now you got a big 4.
That's what I mean. Crazy.
I expect them to be a top 4 team in the East. I don't think they'll meet that. I think they'll be a top 6, but I expect them to be a top 4.
I don't know. Because you're talking playoffs.
Yeah, because I'm putting probably Milwaukee, Philly, Boston above them, maybe Miami. Probably Miami, so maybe top 5. Which is that's still good. You're still in the playoffs. You're basically home court advantage. So I think it all depends how Donovan Mitchell meshes with them. But they have Donovan Mitchell for 4 years. I'm pretty sure he still has 4 years left on his contract.
Are the Cavs a new team to watch for unknown fan now?
They might be. Honestly, I would give the Cavs a watch.
Fun play.
The Cavs play the Raptors on both of their opening games.
Oh, I forgot about that. That just got way more entertaining.
Yeah, now people are really going to want to watch that game.
That's going to be fun. We're going to have to get the next 2K game just for the updated rosters.
We might have to set up a watch party for that one.
Does sound like a hot deal, baby.
Yeah, that was caught me really off guard. I was Donovan Mitchell got traded. And I was like, okay, what did the Knicks give up? And then I look over and it's the Cavs. And I was like, oh.
That's awesome.
Never mind.
Gotta love that type of reaction. I remember having the same thing when Syndergaard got traded. Or I guess when he went to the Angels. It's what the fuck is happening now? That's not anywhere near what I expected to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember I texted you immediately after the trade happened. And I was like, from where? Where did Cleveland come from?
Hey, man. Post LeBron era, it's turning out all right at this point.
I mean, yeah, Darius Garland's an all-star, Jared Allen's an all-star, Evan Mobley's a future all-star, and Donovan Mitchell's an all-star.
There you go.
So you potentially have 4 all-stars on your hands.
Get yourself some solid bench depth, and
they're all in their prime or entering their prime.
Exactly.
So like,
it's awesome. It's exactly what you want.
Cleveland's got something good, and they got a lot for Rudy Gobert too.
How do you think they're going to match up with Toronto when they start the season this year?
I think they're either going to blow out Toronto or they're going to, it's going to be a close game. I don't think they're losing to Toronto.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say.
But I think that, they're either going to blow them out or it's going to be like a really close, tight win.
I don't know. I think that it's just, you're going to see such like exquisite fundamental basketball coming from Cleveland, and like the Raptors.
That's true. Yeah.
Whatever, chemistry they have, I think they're going to be exposed.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's going to be interesting for sure. But moving on to our next piece of news.
I didn't think this was going to be a whole note.
Oh yeah, big note. Danilo Gallinari tears his ACL again.
Wasn't he doing it playing international play for Italy?
Yeah, it was a non-contact injury. And he tore his ACL, which is the exact same ligament that he tore in 2013.
Quite a few years ago now, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still an ACL. Like, when you tear an ACL, you don't really come back the same. And then you tear the same ACL again. Odds are you're not.
Hard comeback.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think he's just going to have to become like a super spot-up shooter. Like, just sit in the corner. Because he was a spot-up shooter already, but he was he could put the ball on the floor if he needed to. Now I don't think so. Now I don't think he's going to be able to do that. Which is huge, like a huge hit for Cleveland too. Or not Cleveland, Boston. Because, like, Danilo Gallinari is a 15 points per game career shooter. So, like, that's a pretty big hit for the Celtics because, like, you're losing.
That's a guy you really want coming off your bench.
Yeah, you're losing on average 15 points a night if you look at it.
And that translates to a lot of wins. People don't realize, especially as a second unit guy.
Like, coming off the bench, Danilo Gallinari is like a terrific power forward.
Oh, but for sure.
So, like, I mean, Boston still set themselves up for success because they have Robert Williams, Al Horford.
Yeah, you're definitely not discrediting their playoff chances now that.
Oh, no. I think they're still going to be a powerhouse, especially because they got Malcolm Brogdon, too.
Which seems unfair.
It does seem unfair. I don't think they should have been allowed to get that. to get Malcolm Brogdon
in your fantasy league.
But whatever. So, yeah, Boston has Malcolm Brogdon now, which is wild because I'd put Malcolm Brogdon in, like, not quite the all-star tier, but the really, really good role player tier, like the elite role player tier.
Yeah, like he's the step under an all-star.
Yeah. Which is incredible to have. And then you have Derek White coming off the bench.
Huge.
And you have Marcus Smart still. Like, what is happening?
Your second unit is somebody else's starting lineup, basically.
It literally. Boston's going to be a powerhouse, and it's even though they don't have Danilo Gallinari, they're still going to be a powerhouse, which is something to say. Because like I don't think they'll make it back to the finals, just because either Giannis is going to have to say something about it, or like Joel Embiid is going to have something to say about it. So
I don't know. I don't think you can count them out by any means.
Yeah, but I just don't think they're going to make it back to the finals. It's rare for a team to make it back-to-back finals unless you're like Cleveland or the Warriors.
There you go.
Or for like 4 years in a row, it's just
face of the NBA dynasty level talent.
Yeah. But moving on from that, Houston. I don't hate your jerseys. I hate the concept that you're following. But for those who don't know, the Houston Rockets are going to be rocking their San Diego Rockets jerseys as their throwback jersey for next season, which is stupid because they were the San Diego Rockets for 4 years from 1967 to 1971.
Not exactly somebody that you're reaching out to as a potential fan.
It's not really a throwback.
The
jersey.
logo is pretty sick.
It's cool. it's not really a throwback jersey if you were only that team for 4 years.
It'd be cool if they didn't go San Diego, if they did this like an homage as a new Houston
if they stayed
jersey,
as like Houston Rockets
old
jerseys,
school
right?
logo, and even with the color swap is a cool alternate. It's just like
but just don't market it as this is our throwback jersey. Do it as like an alternate or like a statement or like.
I don't know. We should know by now that we can't expect anything of any team's jersey choices.
This is true. Jerseys are just going downhill. I'm a little disappointed in every league's jerseys.
To reference
the NFL can't really disappoint me though.
Buddy, they're garbage. You know what I mean? Like,
buddy, they're garbage.
They're not good.
All of them. Terrible. There are a few that are bangers, but very few. And lastly, this happened immediately after we finished last week's pod.
It always does.
Like literally the minute after we finished last week's pod, RJ Barrett signed a 4-year, $120 million contract extension for the Knicks.
Massive.
Which is huge for the Knicks because that means they get to keep RJ Barrett for a long time, who can grow into like an all-star caliber player. But on the flip side, there's a lot of money to give a guy who hasn't actually proved himself yet as like a $30 million a year kind of guy.
Yeah, it is impressive to see somebody get that amount considering where he's been. But at the same time, I mean, it's kind of what I anticipated him to do when he got drafted.
I mean, I expected him to get paid. I expected him to get paid big money, but I just thought he would have had to earn it more, if that makes sense.
At the same time, it is the Knicks. So
it is the Knicks. The Knicks have been notorious for just hucking money at people and hucking things at people.
But how do you feel if he goes and becomes like a $30 million a year kind of guy now? Like, do you just feel
then the Knicks are geniuses.
Foresight?
The Knicks are geniuses.
You know, what happens if it happens 2 years from now?
Then the Knicks are geniuses.
That's what I mean.
That's all I gotta say.
As long as he does what he's doing or gets better, you're like, all right, I'm fine with that.
It's either that he's going to be slightly overpaid or he's going to be worth every penny you're paying him.
Exactly.
So like, there's not really a losing situation.
I'll tell you who's damn sure not losing, and that's RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett is definitely not losing. This man's making $120 million over the next, I guess it would be 5 years because he still has to finish this year where he's on his rookie.
Money.
But that's a lot of money. That's quite a bit of money.
Never even.
Also, I saw relating to the Knicks, I guess. I saw a little stat that might hurt a few Knicks fans.
I love that.
The Knicks have now lost 5 potential all-star signings in like stars in general, right? So I think it was 20 when LeBron was going to go, or when LeBron went to Miami, one of his like top things was the Knicks instead of Miami. And then when LeBron went back to Cleveland, instead of going to Cleveland, another one of his top things was the Knicks. So the Knicks missed out on LeBron twice.
Okay.
They missed out on Zion because they were projected to have the first overall pick.
Yeah.
They missed out on Kyrie and KD, who both said they were going to New York, but then went to Brooklyn instead. And then now they missed out on Donovan Mitchell.
Damn it.
So
sell the team.
The New York Knicks just have a graveyard of stars they could have had. And instead, now they just have to sign
moves. It drastically alters what happens in the NBA.
Yeah, they definitely would have won more championships. For sure.
Damn.
Which is a little bit of a blow to any Knicks fan, but it's okay.
Hurt you.
Just draft LeBron James Jr. so that you can get LeBron.
That's one hell of a front office plan, Nathan.
Just draft Bronny so that you could just move on, get LeBron. Even though he'll be, 37 or 38
It doesn't matter. He's not
maybe
human.
40.
He was assembled in a lab. He's not human.
I mean, yeah, he's a cyborg, so it doesn't even matter. But that's pretty much all we got in the NBA. This is a lot of news for the NBA based on what we've had in prior weeks.
Normally we're reaching to try and get you extra minutes. Tired of hearing myself talk. Everybody listening's tired of hearing me talk.
It's actually just the Travis show. It's Travis Offside.
The subterfuge that even involve you, Nathan. I just wanted to.
I'm just here. I'm just a recurring guest appearance.
All right. Well, we got quite a bit to talk about baseball today. Some pretty fun stuff, actually. Wanted to mention I'm watching doubleheader right now, Jays versus Orioles. So it kind of tied in here, but I wanted to bring this up anyway. The Orioles called up Gunnar Henderson this week. And he's a stud. He's going to be a stud. But the thing that stood out to me, Nathan, and I grabbed a little screen grab here, you can see he played in the Futures game this year, which is impressive. But if you take a look at his age, he was born in 2001, June 29th, which is 10 days exactly later than me. So I'm actually 10 days older than the youngest MLB player currently.
Huh.
And he played in the MLB Futures game this year. And
how does that feel?
Not good. I don't feel good at all, Nathan. Not even a little bit. He's doing far better at life than I am. I'm not afraid to say it.
That's fair, yeah.
But yeah, it's official, Nathan. It's official. I am in the generation of the next generation of baseball, and I've got to come to grips with it because
we are officially old.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a game design student, not even in anything yet, and they're in the major leagues of baseball. So. Congrats to Gunnar Henderson. He hasn't had a good day today against the Blue Jays. He had a couple bad fielding moves. But other than that, really impressive, exciting prospect, as well as a couple other guys. Red Sox called up Tristan Casas, I believe is how you say his name. He's another guy, third base prospect. He's definitely not coming to save the Bo Sox from where they've left themselves this season, but kind of a fun guy coming up, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in their free agency class this year because, they have a good farm system, not a great one, and Xander is potentially on the way out and a couple other guys. So Bo Sox, bit of a tire fire, but good to see young guys getting called up, and Oswald Peraza for the Yankees as well. He's one of their stellar star shortstops. I don't know, man. I watched him play a couple games against the Jays, and he's exciting. He's a great fielder. They were playing him in the corner outfield spots. He was robbing home runs, jumping over the fence. So,
nice.
You'll love to see that from a rookie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a couple of young guys to watch in the AL East here. And now we've got a couple records to talk about, Nathan. First one.
Always love records.
Being a young man by the name of Spencer Strider. If you don't know who he is a pitcher for the Atlanta Braves with a fantastic mustache. And it sounds weird if you know anything about the Braves and their history, but he set the single game strikeout record with 16. And that's crazy because the Braves have had John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, Tom Govine, Warren Spahn. None of those guys ever got 16 strikeouts. I mean, they're some of the most dominant pitchers in the history of baseball, but yeah, this is it. The most strikeouts by any Braves pitcher in a 9-inning game since the mound was moved to its current distance in 1893. So pretty good sample size.
And over a century. A century.
I mean, Smoltz had the record with 15. And Spahn, he's from an older generation. Most people probably haven't heard of him. He struck out 18 in a 15-inning game in 1952. But never had more than 15 in a 9-inning game. And what's funny about it, somebody was talking to Strider after the game about it, and he said, I lost track after 5. I came out of the game, and Kyle Wright was telling me something about John Smoltz or whatever. I had no idea what he was talking about. It didn't make any sense. And then somebody else said something, and I just kind of looked cross-eyed at them, and they were like, you know what just happened? It was neat. It was very cool for them to tell me that. Okay, well, that's more level-headed than I would be.
What a quote. I don't even know what I just did. Someone was telling me something.
I don't know. I struck out 5 and kind of stopped counting, and somebody mentioned one of the greatest pitchers in the history of baseball, and I wasn't really paying attention, but it was neat. It was cool. Okay. I see why you're so good. I'd be a little bit more worked up.
Yeah, I would have lost it. I would have been like, no way.
But this one's exciting too. We're talking about some Japanese baseball.
Oh, this name. I love this name.
Munetaka Murakami.
What a name.
What a name. He sets the new single-season home run record for a Japanese-born player in a pro league. He plays for Japan's Central League for the Yaku Swallows. He's a 22-year-old third baseman. He hit 50 home runs, and dude, it looks like he's playing against little leaguers. Go watch how he plays, and he's been doing it for seasons. He had like 39 and 29 home runs the last 2 seasons, and stuff. Like, the man's a freak. He was a first-round pick in 2017, and he has 148 homers in the NPB since being drafted. That number is actually probably up over 150 because the article I got this from was from about a week ago, and he's had a few since then. So for comparison, to find out how good that is, Shohei Ohtani, who everybody knows, he had 48 homers over his 5-year NPB career, and at the same time,
100 more homers.
He's had 148. So that tells you what kind of hitter
100 more homers than Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, and he's 22, Nathan.
So when's he coming to the MLB?
Well, that's the thing, is it's going to take him a while just based on how the transfer system works. He probably won't have a serious chance of coming over for another couple years. For example, Shohei came over in his 23 season. And there was another comparable who came over in his 27. I don't remember who it is. And then Seiya came over, and Seiya, I think, is like 26 or 27. Like, he's not a kid. Yeah. So, it takes a few years. But the thing is, like, he's drawn at least 70 walks in all 4 of his full seasons. He won the MVP last year. He had 176 runs created plus. And he was pitching he was hitting the other day against Matt Shoemaker, who's been a pitcher in the major leagues, played for the Blue Jays for a bit, had a lot of injuries, and he hit a dick slapping grand slam off of him. So like, you can see that he's ready. Like, he can do things against major league talent. He can play against those kinds of players. And I mean, I think he's the next sensation. I think a lot of people are going to be like, okay, when's Murakami coming? Where's he going? But we're going to have to wait a couple years yet. But either way, he overtook Hideki Matsui, who had 49 in the majors. And, hit 50 home runs. He's got some time left. So he has a chance, I think they said, at reaching 60. So then he'd put the all-time, in my mind, single-season home run record in jeopardy, same as Aaron Judge. Although I think people would probably give Judge the credit.
Yeah.
But
MLB versus Japanese baseball is a little different.
Well, the Central League is considered by pretty much everybody to be the number 2 league in the world. Like,
okay, yeah. So
it's definitely the most comparable to MLB caliber.
It's like the Australian Basketball League in comparison to the NBA. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But you want to see some fun stuff? There's videos on it. Look up Murakami's June performance. He hit 410, 515, 940 with 14 homers, 35 RBIs in 23 games. That's absolutely obscene. If you know nothing about baseball, that means that 410 slash line that I read, that's batting average, on base percentage, and then on base plus slugging. So, for example, to be like an MVP candidate, you have to basically like flirt with, 300 batting average, 500 slugging, 1,000 OPS. And most guys who win the MVP are 1 or 2 of the only guys who even reach those types of standards. So he's like way outdoing that just in a single month span, but way outdoing those types of numbers. If you hit 14 home runs every month, you would be tested for steroids daily. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
Pretty crazy. Definitely a name to look out for. And if you haven't watched NPB, go watch NPB because it's one of the more exciting baseball games you'll ever watch. And then finally, last bit of baseball news, another record. The guy who was traded for, can you name it, Nathan? National League, middle infielder, really exciting, really young, plays somewhere warm.
Oh, yeah, Juan Soto, right?
No, wears a nice red jersey
never mind.
on occasion.
What?
Derek Jeter owned the team?
I'm blanking.
Jazz Chisholm.
Oh, okay.
From the Miami Marlins. Jazz Chisholm and Zack Gallen were traded for each other. Obviously, Zack Gallen showed up in Arizona. Jazz showed up in Miami. But as good as Jazz Chisholm is, Zack Gallen has reached a scoreless inning streak of 41 1/3 innings pitched. That means he has not given up a single run in almost 42 innings.
Jesus.
The third longest of this century. Only
Such
11.
a crazy stat to say.
Only 11 pitchers have thrown 40 consecutive scoreless innings in the modern era. And his streak is currently 8th all time. He's only 2/3 of an inning behind Brandon Webb, who set the record as a D-backs ace, and Zack Greinke in 2015 when they won the World Series in Kansas City, and he was a Cy Young and all that. And only 2 streaks have ever exceeded 47 innings pitched. That's Don Drysdale's 58 and Oral Hershiser's 59. So he's got a ways to go to flirt with those numbers.
Fully, yeah,
but he's already if he gets 2 outs in his next game, he's tied the only other 2 guys to do it this century. So there alone is your high watermark.
Yeah.
So Zack Gallen, as boring as it is to watch Arizona baseball, you might want to watch him pitch because it's fucking fun to watch. Really fun. Kind of way, you know how I say Matt Chapman makes defense fun to watch? Zack Gallen makes pitching fun to watch. Okay. Baseball, over and done with. Now we've got some football stuff, Nathan.
Football?
Not going to lie, we've got big money. We've got a trade. We've got an injury, and we've got an arrest. So,
as per usual,
kind of the,
pretty standard,
certain outcomes for any NFL talk. Vikings acquired Jalen Reagor. I don't know if you know who Jalen Reagor is. He's a wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I do not.
He was the 21st overall pick in the 2020 NFL draft, but he kind of never really reached what they wanted him to. He caught 65 passes for 695 yards and 3 touchdowns over 2 seasons. But the funny thing is that he was picked the pick before Justin Jefferson, who you probably do know. He's the wide receiver for the Vikings, who has come out and has become an absolute stud. So now he goes to Minnesota in return for a 2023 7th-round pick and a conditional 2024 4th-round pick. And Minnesota gets the 2 guys right around where they picked, and they get to laugh their asses off all the way to the playoffs. Nice. I do hope Jalen Reagor does better in Minnesota. I think he will.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes a player to like a change of scenery to kind of figure it out.
Absolutely, especially in football. I mean, it can all be about a system or a coach, and you go somewhere else and it totally changes everything. So he is a fun player. He's an explosive player. So hopefully we get to see him doing good things in Minnesota. For a while, they were my favorite NFL team. Nathan, did you know that?
Minnesota?
Just because they're the Vikings, and I act like a Viking. I look like a Viking.
I see.
So I just related, Do you have a favorite NFL team off the top of your head?
Unfortunately, by association with my brother, I am a Jags fan.
Right, we talked about that. I was disappointed before and disappointed again.
I'm a Jags fan, yep.
Okay, well, not.
But we have Trevor Lawrence, so.
No Jaguar news related. You also have creepy ass, what's his face, humping on 20-year-old blonde chicks in the bar, Urban Meyer.
Oh yeah, we don't like him though.
Do you like Russell Wilson?
I've been a fan of Russell Wilson for a while. Never been a Russell Wilson mega fan, but I watched a few of the Super Bowls. I've seen the Seahawks.
If you're a fan of Denver, you better become a mega fan because he just signed a 5-year, $245 million extension to stay there.
I mean, that's good for Denver. They get their next big superstar QB.
Do you think that is
how long
good for
is
Denver,
Russell Wilson going to last for the?
I mean, he's already an old man, is he not?
Yeah, he's getting old. Yeah, he's like 30. He's in his
30s.
Let's take a look.
33. That's exactly what I was going to guess.
33
November
years
29th, 1988.
This extends him until he's 38.
No quarterback plays until they're 38 and does
Unless
well.
your name is Tom Brady.
But it isn't. It's Russell Wilson.
But it is. It's Russell Wilson. So I guess Peyton Manning too, but like.
Well, yeah, but Peyton Manning is also another one of those freaks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Russell Wilson was
get his
great,
forehead right, but they got his
like,
arm right.
This is true. Russell Wilson's not Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. So
I think they have. I mean, I don't know how good really Denver is, but I think the team just sold. I think they have a chance in this window to go get a ring. I think you got to do it real goddamn soon if you're going to do it, though. Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it has to be within the next. Like,
carry you.
It has to be within the next 2-3 years.
For sure.
So I don't think it's happening, because like all the young QBs are up and coming now.
If you're a Seahawks fan, that probably disappoints you, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like, I mean, whether you like Russell Wilson or not, you don't like Denver.
They have Drew Lock, who's not anything special.
I always forget he actually exists in the league.
Hold on. You'll be rewarded in maybe like a decade or so.
Hopefully you don't waste all of Hot Boy DK Metcalf's career.
Exactly.
Really quick, because the next point's really fun. Not this one. Harold Landry III, Tennessee Titan. He tears his ACL. So, as usual, ACLs going left and right in pro sports.
By ACLs, you'll come back different unless your name is Kevin Durant.
If you want to make $1 bajillion, invent like a new hyper performance ACL that can be installed on a human body.
True. Just get like some way of recovering a torn ACL.
Does that mean that we have like physically enhanced athletes?
Is that a performance enhancing drug?
Oh, pardon me. I don't know. It's not a drug, but it's like it's a physical modification. Does that fall
under like the PEDs?
And that has to be limited, right? You couldn't do that. You couldn't get away with that. Like, he has bionic knees. What am I supposed to do?
Well, maybe they won't be bionic. Maybe it's just a method of recovering your ACL, like a torn ACL, faster.
Yeah, is that like it's an injury replacement?
But is that
like, it's not an optional surgery, but it's I don't know. What's the difference between having like pins in a like whatever? You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, I don't know.
Now I can hit you and my fist is probably going to hurt a little bit more because there's metal in there, but
that's true. Yeah, if someone tackles you, could they get injured?
I don't know, man. I want to see NFL players with bionic knees, though. Somebody you probably don't want to have bionic knees is Marcus May.
Segway?
He got arrested for aggravated assault with a weapon. He's a safety for the New Orleans Saints.
At least it wasn't sexual assault.
Yeah, well, that's true. He was arrested last Thursday, like I said, aggravated assault with a firearm, stemming from an alleged road rage incident that occurred in Metairie. Sorry, it's New Orleans. I'm never going to say it right. Metairie on Monday. So last Monday when we were recording Late Night App, he was getting arrested.
Naturally.
He was released from custody after a $30,000 bond was posted. Not present in the open portion of Saints practice this Thursday past. According to a news release from the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, May was identified as the driver of a black SUV that was involved in an incident in which he is accused of pointing a firearm at another vehicle that was occupied by several juvenile females. He's already facing potential discipline from the NFL regarding an arrest on February 22nd, 2021, when he was a member of the Jets, and he was arrested on charges of driving under the influence and misdemeanor charges of DUI/damage to property in person, as well as leaving the scene of a crash and careless driving. His court date on August 24th was continued until 9 a.m. on November 16th.
So now we get to play the game. How long does he last on the Saints?
Shithead. He was him and Tyrann Mathieu were signed as like big secondary replacements for a couple guys that left, and you signed yourself a shithead.
Yeah.
My
How
question
fast does he get traded and or released?
Well, what draws somebody to pull a weapon on a vehicle full of young teenage girls?
I don't know.
Like, what were they? Did they cut him off singing fucking? I don't know, like.
They were singing
Lady
Taylor
Gaga
Swift
or something. I don't know, offending him with their female rap music. He's like, no, that's bullshit.
No.
They scuff his fucking Cadillac or something. Like, I don't know what. I'm surprised that it's not like he was like, I was taking them back to my house and they crashed on the way because I gave them too much to drink. Like that. That's the story I would expect from an NFL player.
That sounds more NFL-y.
I don't know. That's like Aqib Talib and his fucking brother. Did you hear about that last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever? I think we covered it, but he, I don't know. He's a problem. If you don't know Aqib Talib, he's had a history of whipping out a gun when he probably shouldn't. And he was coaching a youth football team in Texas, I believe. And there's video that you can look it up. And like him and his brother are there, and there's like he comes out and he's arguing with the refs, and the game is over. But I guess like some of the kids on the other team kicked the ball away from the ref. And the ref didn't do anything. And he came out and he's like, man, you can't let them do that. Like, you can't let them disrespect you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what do you want me to do? The game's over. Like, not give him a penalty. The clock's run out, man. Like, I don't know. And it eventually evolves into like kind of a huddle around there. And then you hear a bunch of scattered gunshots and everybody just starts running across the fields.
Jesus.
This is at like a child's, like a Pop Warner football game. And it ended up coming out, I think, that his brother was the one who had pulled out the gun and started shooting. I think he ended up killing one of the other coaches. He shot him and he ended up dying in the hospital. So yeah, definitely if you're a pro athlete, you have no reason to have a gun. Just get
no, not at all.
Go get like 3-4 really big guys. The team will probably find them for you. And just be like, hey, you guys walk around me everywhere I go. If somebody has a gun, you deal with that. I'm gonna get in the car.
Just get bodyguards. Don't.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It seems so careless. You're worth so much money, and you're so high performance, and you've worked your whole life for this, and it can just be gone in a second because you, I don't know, think you're tough.
Because you're stupid, yeah.
Because you're dumb. I don't know, but yeah. So kind of what you expect coming out of the NFL. Am I right, Nathan?
Yep.
Pretty much everything we needed to cover. CFB, a little college football action. Not a huge college football guy. Oh, you did.
I did.
Wow, that's a fucking bloodbath.
That did happen. Oh. I don't know why I spelled it like that. There we go.
I was wondering what school you were talking about, but
who the hell is George?
CFB expands to 12 playoff teams. That's exciting. I know there was a lot of transition within the, I don't know, are they called divisions, Nathan?
I guess.
Like the SEC and the blah, blah, blah. Probably divisions, but yeah, like some shifting. Yeah. Teams moved around. So the playoffs expanding to 12 is always good. I love playoff anything. And for anybody playing college football, it's playoffs where you really get seen and noticed. So
yeah,
the more players you can have in there, the more guys you can have in showing what they can do, the better. But yeah, a couple big games happened. NC, North Carolina, wins 63-61 over Appalachian State.
It's a high-scoring game.
I'll tell you, Nathan, when I played football, this was never a possibility for me, my friend.
You might get
beaten by 63.
Yeah.
We're definitely not answering with 61.
Definitely not.
So, yeah, that's really impressive. That was a crazy game. I don't know what the defensive coordinators were doing there, but they must have just... They were taking time off. Yeah, they must have taken the week off, giving it to the water boy or something. Hey, you run our defense this week. Florida State, they beat LSU on a missed PAT, and some of the reactions from the players are some of the funniest things I've ever seen. There was one I saw, and it was a LSU, I think, player on the sideline, and as soon as the kick went up, you just see him drop to the ground behind the crowd. Everybody, he just died on the spot. He knew what was happening.
That's rough.
It's a rough game. Some of the fans are there with like the big chains and everything, and they're just, oh my God, I love college football emotion.
I just love college sports.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get as into them, but I think it's just because I don't have the brain power to like spread myself thin over that.
It also doesn't help that we go to a big like school for that. Like we can't attend like a huge. That's true. We can't attend a March Madness game. We don't have those.
I didn't know that Brock had certain sports teams until like last year. It's like, oh, we have like baseball and stuff. That's cool. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a little rough over here, but
I don't know, Nathan. Maybe if we were actually athletes, we would have an opportunity.
Who knows? Yeah, maybe if we could actually play sports at a D1 level.
This is your game, the Bulldogs, the team I said I was potentially going to be a fan for.
Georgia beat Oregon 49-3.
That's pathetic. What are the Ducks doing?
Like, you're a D1 school.
Yeah.
Put up more of a fight. Like, I know Georgia's Georgia, but like,
weren't they down this year though compared to what they have been?
Yeah, Oregon is the 11th ranked team in the country, I think. Yeah, Georgia is the 3rd ranked and Oregon's the 11th ranked.
Yeah, so you shouldn't be getting blown out if you're 3-11.
Not at all. You should be putting up a little bit of a fight.
For sure. I mean, you're definitely an underdog, but holy shit, man.
Awful.
I always forget how absolutely chaotic college football is.
Also, LeBron went to the Ohio State game. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that, and he was at I don't remember who it was. He was at a concert, and whoever it was called him out.
Yeah.
Oh no, man! Yeah, just LeBron being LeBron.
He was just doing his rounds,
just being a national figure.
Yep, just taking his off season slow, and by slow I mean going to every sporting event, concert, no demand.
Not to mention everything his sons do.
Yep, true. They were on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
I saw that. That was sick.
I was like, that's really cool.
That was such a cool
cover. I didn't think I would ever see LeBron on the cover of Sports Illustrated again, let alone with his 2 sons.
I know.
There's just, as it's gonna be fun to watch. I'm really excited. God, I love how he's excited. I love how he's talking about, like, I can't wait to play with Bryce. Like, bro, Bronny's not in the league yet. Like, chill, relax, play with Bronny first, and then talk about playing with Bryce. You can't blame the man
for being excited. It's basically everything he could have ever imagined.
This is true.
To a certain point
because at first he was like, I can't wait to play with Bronny, and then because like Bryce was a little tubby, like not even 6 foot kid. So like Bron was probably like, oh, he's gonna go play football or something, and then Bryce became like taller or the same height as Bron, or like 6'6", and then
freak.
Yeah, he's like insanely athletic, actually good at basketball, and now Bron's like, oh my god, I might have 2 sons in the
NBA. Must be a fun realization, eh?
Yeah, that's what Space Jam was actually about. Just help Bryce not want to play basketball, and then he watched Space Jam. He's like, I want to play basketball now.
That's awesome. How much do you think that would actually have an effect on somebody? Probably nothing.
If you watch the movie and you realize that you're the kid that's in the movie, I mean, I don't know if Bryce actually didn't want to play basketball, but I figured, like, I don't know, he was a little tubby kid with sports goggles, so just like generally that doesn't line up with basketball.
Anybody with goggles is up there on my list, though.
Amari Stoudemire.
Face mask, that's a strong move, my friend.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, what a legend.
Isn't that, I think I actually clipped that as a reference from Airplane. Isn't that, you definitely haven't seen that movie.
I probably have, but I haven't.
It's a famous, like, older movie, older comedy. Yeah. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the pilots.
Oh, right, yeah.
Hey,
and then someone's
Kareem
like,
Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah. No, I'm not. I can add it. I'll throw the clip into this episode right here.
Just throw all the clips of NBA players and old movies.
Wait a minute. I know you. You're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You play basketball for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah? Conan. Oh, yeah. See, that's what I mean. That's why I was trying to go
Bill Russell and Wilt, I think, were Conan.
I love it. I love when athletes are in movies. It's such a fun reference.
Oh, have you seen Hustle, the new Adam Sandler movie?
I've been meaning to watch it because I loved Uncut Gems. It's actually good.
It is legitimately a good movie.
I think it would be. You know what I mean? Like, say what you will of Adam Sandler. I love him. I love every generation of Adam Sandler. I love the OG Adam Sandler. I love the fucking rom-com Adam Sandler. And I like this gritty Adam Sandler too.
Yeah. And like Juan Hernan Gomez,
right?
I've seen like scenes from it. I haven't seen like the whole.
Well, him and Kevin Garnett are fucking awesome in that movie.
Amazing.
It's so funny. Kevin Garnett's fucking necklace or whatever, his ring or whatever he has, he's getting beat up in his jewelry store. It's so fucking awesome.
Juan Hernan Gomez actually does pretty good, which is impressive considering he's like not an English speaker.
Well, with that name, no, you're not.
Yeah, he's
I've
Spanish?
never been
I
able
think
to
he's
pronounce
Spanish.
his name ever.
Juancho Hernan Gomez.
Yeah, the Wancho is what always got me.
Yeah. I mean, he goes by Bo Cruz in the movie, so now his nickname is just Bo Cruz now.
That makes sense. I have a friend
It's
back
like
home
how-
that we call Honcho, so that's what I always called him.
It's like how Ray Allen is known as Jesus Shuttleworth because of his movie.
I'm sorry, I don't know that one.
Oh, it's what movie is it? Let me look it up real quick. I watched the movie too. He's like, his nickname is Jesus Shuttlesworth. Oh, he got game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ray Allen's known as Jesus Shuttlesworth because
I
that's
love
like
it.
his character's name. So now it's a nickname for him.
I don't
It's
know.
so
I love
good.
Reggie talking about fucking Michael Jordan, calling him like Black Jesus and that black cat. That shit's
Oh, yeah.
hilarious.
And
I will
there's,
say baseball probably has the best nicknames just because they're the most ridiculous.
true.
But
We should do
basketballs are some of the
we
most
should do a
entertaining.
segment. We should do a segment on sports nicknames.
Add it to the list, my friend.
Well,
You know that Google Doc is like 6 pages.
yeah, I know it's filled with stuff that we just never
Filled
pulled.
to the brim.
I mean, a lot of the stuff I feel like we have to do in person.
I think you're
which is
right.
probably why we haven't done
There's
it
a lot
yet.
of stuff I want to be like Charlie from It's Always Sunny and get a fucking whiteboard and a bunch of yarn and tacks and
Exactly.
sticky notes everywhere. We won't, but it'd be fun.
It'd be fun. I mean, we might. Who knows?
You can get
If
a whiteboard.
if one person leaves a comment, if a singular person leaves a comment,
We'll get a whiteboard.
we'll get a whiteboard. We will do it. We have yet
One
to
hell
have a
of a
comment on any
reward.
of our episodes. If one person that is not you or me leaves a comment, we will get a whiteboard.
We're lucky if we're not our only views some weeks.
I mean, that's true. I mean, I think I've only actually watched like 2 of the episodes. So a
I've
lot of
never
the
made
views
it all the
is-
way through one because I don't have the time. But
Exactly.
I've watched 3 or 4 of them, at least like 20 minutes worth.
So like, I think a lot of the views actually aren't us.
I think we
Which is
consistently get 4 views and 1 to 2 of them is us.
Potentially.
I think that's what it's been for like the last 3-4 weeks.
I'll take it, honestly.
I'd take that.
If at least one of them isn't us, I'll take it.
I've had people give me feedback that I gave too much baseball news. I'm like, well, I've always gone second, so that means they've at least made it through Nathan's part. So that's where it's
That's
something.
true. That's true. They've at least made it through the basketball.
So there you go.
Look at that.
Yeah, so next week, Nathan, tomorrow actually, me and you and the boys might meet up at school, do a bit of a run around, find our classes, talk about the game we're working on, and maybe also find out what our studio opportunity might be for this.
Yep.
Which I have no idea what that room is like. I've only seen videos of it, but it looks killer.
It does look nice.
So we've got that as an opportunity tomorrow, and then next week you think there's a good chance we're actually in person, potentially on camera, but at least together in the same room.
So yeah. Well, yeah, at least together in the same room. That way we don't have to do it over Discord.
We're gonna have to figure out microphones and all that kind of
I
jazz.
have a mic.
In Nathan we trust.
I don't have a pop filter for it though, so don't say your P's too loud.
I'm an editing god.
Okay, I believe in you.
Not really, but I am.
But you are. You do all the episodes, so that's I do the
Yeah, we were
thumbnail.
gonna split originally, and then I kind of just took it over.
I mean, it was because it was just harder if we split it.
It was harder, and frankly, I don't mind whatsoever because it gives you more time eventually to do all the important shit that's gonna matter, like I don't know, merch and the FBA and everything that actually matters to people who listen. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's all the news. They've heard us rambling for a while now.
Yeah, but this is still a short ep, so we're doing
Still a short ep, a little bite-sized ep.
I mean, maybe we're just still a little bit overwhelmed after the late night ep last week.
Maybe.
I know I am, but yeah, just moved in like 2 days ago again. Got some adventures planned. Got school starting, which means this is gonna get some pedal to the metal action. We're gonna have probably some game updates. We might pitch that at one point. Try to get anybody who listens to go like look at a Steam page, something like that. What do you think, Nathan? We might try to cross streams.
Get a little marketing.
Yeah, some free marketing. Doesn't need to work it into the budget. So
This is true.
yeah, stay tuned to a Totally Offside Sports podcast if you're also interested in some gaming news, potentially, at least for us.
And on that note,
have yourself a lovely day. Like, subscribe,
hit that little notification bell. Yeah.
Notification bell.
And if you put one comment in, we're getting a whiteboard.
Sounds good to me, Nathan.
All right.
Goodbye, you beautiful people.